Okay. And can someone just let me know if YouTube is working as well before we start? Okay, great. A couple of people raised their hands already. But we're just gonna go ahead and do the community call first, and maybe we'll open up for questions at the end of it. So welcome to our February or end of February monthly community call. And for people that don't know, there is a ritual here of doing a community call at the end of the month and kind of reporting on what we've been doing the whole month and what's upcoming. Um, so this one will be focused on some community updates, mostly ETH Denver, the ETH Denver bounty that I've been pretty much spamming about in this Discord, and pretty excited we got that going. And some requests for proposals from to the developer community that we have. So moving on. So on the community side of things, last month we launched a couple of Discord forum posts to kind of test out if they would work as like a good source of feedback. I'm thinking maybe there needs to be more of a sorry about that. There needs to be more of a discussion or like a bigger topic maybe in there. So we're gonna try a couple others and have some RFPs after the call in the Discord forum channel. Oops, sorry. And you'll be able to see how we're going to do Discord forum posts going forward. It should be a more focused conversation rather than an ask me anything style of like surveying the Discord. I'm also going to push a change to the language channels. So I know a lot of people here are multilingual. This will just like involve a bot where you flag your language, and then it'll put you in the language channel with everyone else. And it's mainly just to like clean up the Discord a little bit. I was also thinking of resetting everyone's like Spectralite role and have people go through like a new flow just to kind of filter out the bots in the Discord. But we'll hold off on that for now. Uh, but yeah, so you can look forward to a bot for the multi-language channel or multilingual channels where you can just select your channel. And then you'll have like a role with the rest of the people in your communities. So, um, as per our most recent announcement, our dev team is monitoring the ETH Denver bounty channel pretty much all day and the integrations channel. So most of our developers are in Europe time, which is I think it's like 10 o'clock there, maybe 10:30 for their time zone. It's probably even later for them. So you can expect most of your questions to be answered between like 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific time. I'm not sure what that is, UTC, but it's the morning for me. And yeah, if you don't get an answer right away, maybe just wait like probably like 6 hours. They'll definitely get back to you by that time frame, but you can look for way more activity in the mornings. So this is the same slide from last month, but we are attending ETH Denver. So let us know if you're attending and talk to me about it. We have like 5 or 6 people going to ETH Denver. We'll have a booth there. I'll go over all the events that we're going to go through. It's pretty exciting. It's their first like face to face with the community since we've started really pushing for community style events. Yeah, if you stop by, I think there's like a POAP or some merch that maybe someone in Discord can confirm, but I think we have some merch for you. So definitely stop by our booth or one of the events that we're having. Moving on to the events that we're going to host. So right now is build week. We put out a bounty, which I'll go over after this slide. Um, It involves a lot of people building some ideas we had, and we proposed them in a Medium art or not a Medium article, but our blog article. So on March 2nd, our CEO is having a talk about capital efficiency and DeFi. It should be really interesting if you're going to ETH Denver. Definitely stop by and check that out. I think it's a panel of people, or maybe it's sorry, that one is just a presentation by him. So 10:40 a.m. Mountain Time in Denver. Between March 2nd and 4th, 9 to 5, we'll have 2 people at a time at our booths. So it's the CK booth in DeFi District. In case in case it's not clear, I guess. But stop by, meet our team. They're all super nice people. I'm sure you're super nice too if you're going to ETH Denver. You can pick our brains on what we're building, what our vision is on this project, etc. So on March 4th, Sushir is speaking on a panel, and he'll be with a few other DeFi founders, I think. So bullish on real world asset infrastructure in a bear market. Stop by for that one. And then on March 5th, we'll have the bounty winner announced. And I'll announce it in Discord. I'll announce it in the ETH Denver Discord channel that we have. So if you haven't gone to the ETH Denver Discord and gone to the Spectral Finance channel, you can find us there as well. And yeah, I hope one of you win. So going over the bounty. So this is an article that James, I just want to make sure it's streaming correctly. But yeah, this is an article that our writer James put out. It's not really an article. It's more of like an information page about our bounty that we're having. So there's $15,000 in prizes up to $15,000 in prizes. So the prizing is outlined here. So first place winner gets 8 grand, second place 5 grand, etc. It's not really the correct use of etc. But yeah. Okay. Moving on. This bounty involves building. Where is the build? A lending pool that uses Spectral's macro score to adjust interest or collateral rates, or an entirely new model of lending based on macro score as well, I'm sure. A gating mechanism for protocol usage. So gates can be ranges of the score. I'm going to go over this in the RFP section too, because it is one of our RFPs as well. And a protocol that does not reveal a user's score on chain and adjusts behavior with users in an obfuscated manner. So I'll let you read through this one if you're a developer. It's involving like ZK proofs or some other obfuscating tools. Yeah, if you have the aptitude to build these things, we would definitely like to see your submissions in the bounty. Yeah. Maybe I'll just go over some of the submission requirements as well. But vision of your project, live and usable on our Bitrum Girly. So our Scoracle contracts kind of are sitting on our Bitrum Girly right now. Girly. Yeah. Video demo of the live application, and open source code, and great documentation. So that is it for the bounty. Now moving on to the requests for proposals. Sorry, close Discord for a second. So the Spectral team is interested in working with other developer teams that are interested in building out our ideas. So we have 3 ideas that we'll be pitching to the community, and hopefully you bite on some of them because we really want these things to be built out. Like I said, we're going to go over the RFPs during this call, as well as posting them to a Discord forum channel after the call. So you'll be able to see them at your own time and build them on your own schedule. This is not like the bounty. The bounty ends on March 5th. So moving on to number one. This is the macro gated pool. The idea is to fork a lending protocol and include gating to certain pool terms using the macro score. This is probably the biggest idea that's been shared around, like as Spectral's like main use case. I know a ton of people have asked me about it. There, so the idea in essence is to fork something like Gearbox or even Aave or whatever. Hopefully, it's Gearbox. I'll specify more of the contract things in the RFP Discord forum posts, but in essence, a DeFi borrower with ETH comes in, they put their ETH into a pool, which is gated by macro score. So the pool will check the macro score of the person that's depositing the ETH to withdraw some funds against the ETH as collateral. And if they have a low score or no score, maybe they get 70%. These are all estimates. But 70% is pretty much like the industry standard of like how much collateral you'd get out of a lending pool right now. So if you have an average score, maybe you get somewhere between 70 and 90% of your collateral. And then a super high score would be something like 90% of your collateral in USDC back. And maybe that involves something like KYC at the end of the day. I don't think the idea behind this RFP is to use KYC. I think it's more of a proof of concept of like the macro score and credit worthiness on chain. Like if you've proven yourself to be not getting or to not be getting liquidated on chain constantly, and you have like a great score, and you know your macro score is like 800 or something, like you should be able to take more funds out. Chances are that you won't be defaulting on your loan, and that's in quotes. But the DeFi version of defaulting on your loan, in our opinion, is getting liquidated. So let me know what you think about that. I'm just scanning for questions in the Discord, but let me know if you have any questions. So the next one is DAO credit scoring. So last community call, we talked to Wartle. We had Sushir on here, and we were talking about how can DAOs utilize credit scoring, or what are some of their pain points with treasuries. So we'd like to fund the creation of a wallet bundling app or contract usable by many individuals in a DAO. So like let's say there's 10 multi-sig holders in a DAO, and they all have an incredible macro score, and they bundle together, and they want to use like the DAO treasury for a loan. Like the idea is that we score the entire DAO itself rather than the individuals of the wallets, and then you'd have this DAO credit worthiness, or which may in time lead to trustworthiness. But so this could allow DAOs to borrow more funds depending on their credit worthiness as a whole, and would also require the users in the DAO to practice good lending behavior themselves. So it increases the actual like health of the DeFi ecosystem at the end of the day. But mostly, we want the people responding to this RFP to focus on building like an app or some kind of contract that's bundling a lot of addresses that are individually owned into one list of addresses, I would say, and then scoring that list as one bundle. I think like the Spectral app can already take multiple addresses that like you yourself own. So say me, for example, I have a bundle of like 5 addresses that I threw into Spectral's app, our app, and it scored all 5, right? So we have the capability to do that, but we don't have the capability to do it across multiple owners, which is what this would be. Yeah. Next thing is a traditional credit bundling, and this one is like a really, really loose interpretation of what we think could happen in the future. But it's the ability to take your on-chain credit score and bundle it with your traditional credit score and send it off chain. And this would let, like, say banks, instead of having like only your traditional credit worthiness, they would actually have your entire credit history, because it involves all your DeFi credit history too. So yeah, the idea isn't to take off chain credit scoring, traditional credit scoring, and bring it on chain. We aren't interested in that right now. Um, the idea is to take your on chain credit worthiness, which is tons of data, tons of lending activity for some people, and bundle it with your trad score and send it off chain to like people who are trying to get a fuller picture of your credit worthiness as a person. Like maybe, you aren't able to get a loan in real life, but you have extremely good DeFi credit worthiness, right? Like why shouldn't they consider that at the end of the day? So just to go over the points that I've written down. So the ability to take on-chain credit score and sending to lending institutions off-chain, bundling the macro score with traditional credit score and give a fuller view on creditworthiness across all finance, not just trad finance. And then, like I said, this is a loose idea. It's open to interpretation and creative approaches. Um, Personally, I don't, I don't know if I don't want to even say anything, but I like my worlds to be separate, so I'm not super interested in this. But who knows? That's just personal opinion. Anyways, it is like a good thesis for long-term credit history, though. Okay, there's a question. How would you plan to sell the macro score to credit institutions that require either linking addresses to individuals or to a government registration number? Yeah, at the end of the day, like you'd have to be KYC'd. Like you'd have to represent your DeFi addresses as like your own and then bring that into traditional credit. So that's the reason why we're not going the other direction by bringing like KYC on chain. We're taking your DeFi addresses that with you consent to like being looked at, I guess, and bringing them off chain to credit institutions. And why you'd want this is, like I said, um, maybe your full credit history in terms of traditional finance isn't like great, but or it's non-existent or whatever. But you've been like a DeFi lender for years, and now you have great credit worthiness, but no one is actually thinking like, oh, this guy has $1,000 of loans that he's never defaulted on, but we can't actually see it because it's all on chain. Hope that makes sense. Okay. So I'm just gonna open it up for questions here in the chat, and like if you want to speak on stage, um, raise your hand. You can jump on stage and talk to me if you want. Uh, but to everyone else, that was our update for February. A lot of it is small community updates, but we placed a huge focus on these ETH Denver events. So if you're going to ETH Denver, like please come and see us. Um, in this picture is the OET that I'll be giving out today, or that Spectral will be giving out today. And for any further questions, contact me on Discord. You all know me, hopefully. And there you have it. So just opening it up for questions. I see a question, general channel. Can we use pull-ups for anything? They're mostly collectibles at this point. I haven't even given any like hints as to what they could be for, and that's the answer to that. So there's not really many questions, so I guess we'll call it there. Thank you for joining, everyone.